Good morning, everybody. Today, we are going to look at the difference between understanding and changing. So, as a matter of interest, how are you doing with your drinking water? The challenge that we adopted on the first day. Excuse me. So, when we decide that we're going to make something different, we're going to change our behavior because we understand the benefit of it. Cognitively, our neocortex goes, yes, drinking more water is a great idea. It's healthier. There's lots of things that I can see the benefit of drinking more water. It doesn't always work like that in practice, though, does it? Somehow, the motor center, the behavior, it is much more difficult to change that behavior. And the reason for that is because there are two different centers, two different learning centers. So just cognitively being able to understand the reason for a choice to change behavior on one side is not the same thing as being able to implement attention and focused concentration to changing that behavior. So that's why so many of us say things like, oh, I really should be drinking more water. I should be exercising more often. I really need to get my, eating junk food under control, or whatever we are looking at that time. And day after day, we struggle with that process. So what we really want to look at today is how to create repetitive, focused attention for the things that we want to change. So the drinking water, we know cognitively that it's good for us. We really want to drink more water. We do realize it does make us feel better. We're less dehydrated. There's a lot of good cognitive reasons for us to want to up our water intake. Now we need to drive a behavioral pattern so that we make sure that we actually fulfill that. So something like having a glass of water, having a coaster. I've got a coaster right in front of me here. Coaster on your desk with a glass of water that you remind yourself to top up every time you sit down at your desk. And you really need to concentrate on that. It needs to be a repetitive behavior that you keep doing, almost mindlessly, almost repetitively, mindlessly, so that it becomes the new neural pathway, it becomes the new habit. And then the not drinking water becomes the old habit. And the more we practice the new habits, the more we form that pathway to the new habits. Now, this is obviously slightly easier said than done, because many of us have the experience of trying to create a new habit and slipping back into old patterns. So for me, I encourage you not to be too critical and too judgmental when you find yourself back in your old pattern after days and sometimes weeks of practicing something new. Find yourself curious at how quickly you come back into your old way, and go, oh, how fascinating. Instead of, oh, you silly girl, you shouldn't have done that. We've got this new habit going. It's easier to bring yourself back to the new way when you have become curious about yourself as a human and notice the things that you do. So, oh, I've slipped back into my pattern. That's interesting. Wonder what caused that. Let's go back to the new way. Let's sort of put some focused attention into the new plan, the change that I'm implementing, whatever that may be. And sort of just don't beat myself up too much about the fact that I slipped occasionally, because I think sometimes when we allow that critical voice to really judge us, that we haven't been able to stick with what we said, then we just give up completely, and then we just go right back to the old way, and then there's absolutely no water being consumed at all. So just kind of catch yourself and gently bump yourself back. And a lot of the practices we've been doing over the challenge, the drinking the water, the 5 minutes of nothing, the breathing exercises, so many of the exercises that we've been practicing are the type of things that you can catch yourself doing right and practice repeating every day. And over time, they really do make a difference to the way you feel, to the way your thoughts are processed. And I mean, the water makes a massive difference over time. So notice when you slip up and behaviorally you keep slipping into the old pattern. Be curious about it and then repeat your focused attention until you form that new habit and that new pathway. Good luck. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.